I want to spend a minute and share with you an alternative method of doing storytelling in Kumu. Before the presentation feature was developed, being the sort of impatient person that I am, I wanted to figure out how to unfold a model in Kumu, even though there wasn't a storytelling feature. And I ended up putting together the following so that this particular example, which there's a link for in the content. So here there's a link to this goal as a self-limiting proposition. When one opens this model, it's empty, and you can click and you can watch a video about this presentation, which was done off of the presentation. But then down here it says there's two ways to unfold the structure, one goal-seeking and one reinforcing. If you click here, it shows you a portion of the model and shows you the profile page for this loop structure. And it contains a link which will take you to the next piece of the model, which is this resource limit, and it provides a description, and another link to the excess capacity piece, which then provides a description and a link to a simulation model, which is embedded in a light box, so that it runs the simulation model to demonstrate what was presented in the presentation or the story that was unfolded. And then you click in the background and it goes back to the beginning. If you click and hold, everything goes away. Now the way that this was accomplished, part of it's a little bit tricky. The perspective itself has got this focus on the map and an out equals 0, which means nothing shows up, everything goes away. So to develop the presentation itself, I had to initially start without that, otherwise there would be nothing to get a hold of to work with to do the presentation. And the way that the presentation was started was to actually go ahead and select this, which is the first piece, and the target or the link to do that is, this is the name of the map, this is the name of the loop, and the focus is equal to 0. So I copy this and I went back, and that's what's actually installed here as this first link, goal seeking, and it simply says what I just copied out of the URL a moment ago. So that's the link that causes the first part to show up. And then when I was looking at the whole map, I simply clicked on this and it tells me, well, if I click and hold this, I don't even have to hold it. I just have to click it to tell me that that's the resource limits piece, so that I can go back here into this comments about this particular loop label and install resource limits equal and the name of that particular loop label. And then in that loop label is installed the link to the next piece. So it sort of walks through the pieces of the model one after another. And this one is done the same way in that it displays this, then this, and then this. So you end up with a sequencing that you can unfold. The annoying part of it is that you have to create loop labels for pieces of things so that you can get a hold of them to display them. I couldn't figure out a way to do it without that, and if I do, I'll update it. And then once I got all of the structuring done, then it was time to go back and actually fix the perspective so that nothing showed up before I wanted it to with this setting statement. So now when one goes into the model, there's nothing there, and they go ahead and read this, and they can come down and then click and unfold and read about the piece, go to the next piece, read about that, go to the final piece, read about that, and then actually open a different simulation model in the window and walk through the story associated with the simulation model, which is essentially what was presented in a qualitative fashion in the unfolding. So I wanted to present this because I think there are certain times when I will still use this in the future because of the capability that presents without being forced into the limits of the 4 options that are available for developing presentations in Kumu. Here I have the ability to use just about anything I want to in the context of the model, as opposed to having to be in the presentation environment. So hope you found this informative, and I'll see you in the next video soon. Bye.